I also almost urinated on top of him and his wife at one point. Hey guys, welcome back to Little Big Opinions. I'm Big.
And I'm Little.
In today's episode, we're going to go over a draft recap. We're getting to the 2025 NFL draft, which I think is happening in Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Lambeau?
Can I just stop you for a second?
Oh.
That just felt so much better. You leading the pod. That's the way that I remember it. Okay, so
And that was off the cuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that.
Have you ever been to Lambeau, by the way?
No, but we should go.
Oh, add it to the other to the list of things that we want to do for the Dolphins.
Oh my God! But Green Bay, I mean, there's only certain places that you dream about going. That has to be one of them.
I definitely want to go there.
And
you
can rent like an Airbnb, like right across the street, where you open up the backyard and there's Lambeau. We can barbecue and then walk over there. Maybe in the future. So
we're getting to, this is our draft. Before the draft, it's next week.
Yep.
Or later on this week. Clearly we have lots of holes.
Yep.
In this organization, in this on the field, but we have 10 picks, Chris. 10 picks, the most ever that Chris Greer has ever had.
So you're telling me, do I think there's a chance that Chris Greer can fix it all in 10 picks?
Do you have any faith in this gentleman?
There's always this little glimmer of what I like to call hope. But do I really think he can do it? No. I have no confidence that he can. How are we here in this rebuild? I'm going to say it because that's where we're in. Another rebuild. How is he doing it again? I just don't understand how we're back.
How many rebuilds is that in this guy's tenure? At least. This is the third? You can make an argument it's the third.
In his time?
Yeah.
No, this is the second.
No, but he was here before.
Yeah, so he's been with the organization for a long time, so you can give him not total responsibility, but he took a part in what we've done before. But his own, I'm the lead guy. This is his second rebuild.
Jesus.
Yeah, because he hired Mike McDaniel. No, he hired Brian Flores. So Brian Flores and now Mike McDaniel. So here we are.
So 10 picks. First pick is the 13th overall pick. You got a pick in the second round, a pick in the third round, and then you got 2 picks in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 3 in the seventh.
That's a lot of picks. I mean, you could actually really fill, the meat and potatoes of the roster with that. You can get in your second or third corner. You can get maybe a starting defensive tackle, a starting offensive guard, and then you can get some projects in the back that maybe turn out to be good players. The problem is that we built this team to be top-heavy, and all of a sudden we've shifted and decided this top-heavy offense is not going to happen anymore.
Yeah. All of the experience and premier talent has either left through free agency, has been provided to leave in past years. Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt, Javon Holland left, took more money. And now you're here. You're one of the top 10 youngest teams in the NFL. Think about that.
Yeah.
And who is your future? What is your DNA? And let's go through the list real quick for the listeners and for the viewers. Where are we at right now at a roster? Right? Let's go through the offense first, then we'll go to the defense, and we can even talk about special teams. But I think we need to kind of list where we're at by position.
What do we have? We have a quarterback.
We got a quarterback with a backup quarterback. Do we have a young quarterback that we could potentially look to the future?
That might be Zach Wilson. They might be thinking that's Zach Wilson.
Okay, I highly doubt it, but they could be, right? But okay. I mean, in their right mind, do you really have any confidence that they think that Zach Wilson is potentially
Mike
the future?
McDaniel has confidence in Tua and like an unbelievable amount in Tua. So I feel like the way that he works is a little bit like, I can fix him. It's almost like those girls that always get with like the bad guys that like, I can fix him. I feel like that Mike McDaniel has that a little bit.
Those girls are always smoke shows, by the way. Why are they always so hot? And then these guys are dirtbags. Why can't you go for nice, funny, cuddly guys who have a steady job?
It's definitely not as fun.
Huh?
I'm sure it's not as fun.
It's probably, something else that they're compensating for. But
so, QB is not the glaring need.
But we could made it in the later rounds.
Hey, here's a little teaser to the. We could fill a draft pick at every single position.
I'll let you fill my hole.
Okay,
Yeah.
not trying to do that. That is ridiculous.
Oh, my bad.
Why would you
Sorry.
say that?
Sorry.
Okay, so running back, we're not going to draft anybody. We could draft another starter, but we're not
No,
drafting anybody
we
in the
don't need
first
a
or
right
second
back.
round.
We don't need
Not
a
happening.
fullback.
Don't
My
need-
little fullback?
No fullback.
Your little fullback? Or my
We-
little fullback?
Are you okay?
Sorry, man. I'm just so excited right now.
Come back here. All right. So then we have
Wide
receivers. We have solid 1 and 2, obviously, right now.
We got Westbrook and Kinney. We're good.
Which
we're,
could
we're
be
good there. You got
3.
Malik Washington.
Yeah,
We're good.
so we're good. Tight end, we have Jonnu Smith. We have
Farrell Brown.
that we couldn't remember last time. He's on the team.
So we're good.
So we're
Offensive
fine.
line. Right tackle. Set. Austin Jackson.
As long as he stays healthy.
Love it. Okay. We got Larry Borum, who's a swing tackle.
Yeah,
Who can be-
no bueno.
Who could. No?
I'm not going into
I
the
know.
season as him as a starter. Him,
No, I
Liam
meant
Eichenberg,
backup. I meant backup. Swing. We're talking
Backups
about.
are going
yeah.
to have to play.
Okay, okay.
Especially in offensive line.
All right. Then you go right guard. Liam Eichenberg.
No.
James Daniels.
James Daniels.
Okay. Then you go Aaron Brewer. Then you go left guard. You got Liam Eichenberg. But right now, that is the biggest clear as of right now that
Yeah.
we've discussed. Left guard is the biggest need. Potentially left tackle too. You said Patrick Paul. He's the future now that Teron Armstead has retired. Patrick Paul is getting the reins.
Yeah, maybe he's good, maybe he's not, but I'm not confident that for sure. And that gives me a concern because is his presence on the team going to make Chris Grier feel that if there's a sure left tackle that can be your starter for the next 20 years, 10 years, for the next 10 years, oh, we have Patrick Paul. So we're not going to draft him. We'll draft something else.
Very valid point.
Because Patrick Paul can't play guard.
If the kid from Missouri, he can't play guard,
No. So what is he going to do? Play right?
so then he'll be your swing tackle.
He's going to be your swing tackle.
He'll be your,
so that's
your
another
insurance
waste,
policy.
He's another wasted pick
At a
because
second round.
This whole thing was for him to be ready to play next year for Teron to be hurt. So we'll see. Maybe
so we're here.
Maybe
So you got to go with him, Chris. You got to go with him. Yeah, we don't. In a perfect world, I see what you're saying.
that's what happens when you're always drafting for need instead of the best available player because your roster's always full of holes. This is what Chris Grier
This is the first
always
thing.
does.
Only took 5 minutes for him to say that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
full
true.
of holes. All right, so offense, we need an offensive guard for sure, maybe a tackle. So we've got to one of our needs,
And maybe a
offensive
QB
line.
and a young QB.
And a young QB.
Okay.
Then we'll go to defense. Okay. What do-
I'll set it.
What do we have on defense?
The edge. What do we have on defense? We have premier pass rushers, Chop Robinson, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips. Then you got inside. So I think we're good on edge, right?
They have walkers and crutches on the field, or
Okay. What a dirtbag. By the way, talking from a physical therapist, maybe you can get out there and help these guys. Your magic hands. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would do my best, that's for sure. But
What do you do, by the way? Like, what's your premier? Are you like a good massage therapist, or you're just good about like?
you just call me a massage therapist.
Well, isn't that what physical therapy is?
Wow.
Yeah, this is a
Fighting
conversation for another day. We're not going to have this. I'm a physical therapist. I do some hands-on. We do some exercise. We do some recovery. Different things.
Should we go through your famous clientele that you've
No,
treated before?
can't do that. It's called HIPAA.
Oh, my bad.
This guy. But if anybody wants to know, hit me up. You can come find out.
Well, okay. Inside defensive line, you got Zach Sealer, you have Benito Jones, and you got Hand. But you need to
We don't have a starter. We lost a starter. Bunch of snaps, not there.
and leadership too
Oh yeah, the leader of the
in
defense.
Calais Campbell. So
Came in 2 weeks before the season started, and he was the leader. That's already the biggest red flag that we had last year.
yeah, so we got two. That's our second biggest need, D tackle, right?
Or 1, 2, yeah.
All right. Now linebackers. I like our linebackers. I think there's depth
Keep
there.
saying that.
I like our linebackers. You got Jordan Brooks, Dotson.
We got Dotson here.
Oh, we're always gonna say it. KJ Britt. Shit, I forgot the other
Gay.
Willie Gay. There you go. I think we got proven guys. Won Super Bowls. Jordan Brooks is an absolute stud. Dotson is a ball hawk. 3 interceptions last year. We're good with linebacker. I don't want to see linebacker. Then we go to the outside, Chris, and now we get to the really scary part of the secondary, right? You lost Javon Holland and Jordan Poyer, poor guy, has to go out to pasture. So you brought the Lions guy, if we look at it, and then you brought Ashton Davis from the Jets, but those are not two proven starters.
Yeah,
right?
they're 2 and 3s. They're not a 1 for sure, and maybe not even a 2. But at least you have a 2 or 3. You have people that you can put out there for sure.
So safety is the third big large need.
We've talked about left guard, defensive tackle, and safety. Those are 3 positions that we actually have holes and need starters in those positions.
Okay, so next up we get to cornerback.
At least we have Jalen Ramsey. Oh,
who knows at this point in time? How are we here? I mean, this is unbelievable.
We're back. I mean, this is just the hamster wheel. It just keeps going on and going on and going on, and somehow we're back at it. We're Chris Greer. I don't know what he talks to these people about, but gets another opportunity to do the rebuild, because I've said it and I'll say it again. It's clearly that they're allowing them to do that. They're not mortgaging the future. They're not spending a bunch of money this year. They're not doing the things they did last year. They let people walk for Ramsey, for Tyreek Hill, for these players that we've talked about. And now we got to fill those holes again.
Because they want to leave.
Because they want to leave.
Yeah. Every single time. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to go there. But with cornerback, even if Jalen Ramsey is on the roster, you still need your second cornerback on the outside. Right? You got Kader Kohu.
Oh, his name was Kendall Fuller, and we let him go too for no reason.
He still hasn't been signed, by the way. So, but you have Kader Kohu, Storm Duck, great name, Ethan Bonner, and Cam Smith, who, let's be honest with Cam Smith, is an absolute bust so far.
Right.
Second round pick.
So this is one of the things that we're talking about. He had limited draft capital, so he had to hit, and I don't think he hit when he had to.
He hasn't been on the field.
We had 2 years of draft picks that don't play, that don't contribute, that don't do anything. We have Eric Ezukama. Remember that guy? Yeah, he's still on the roster somehow. And then we had the linebacker for Georgia that I can't even think of his name, that he barely plays special teams.
Channing Tindall?
Channing Tindall.
Yeah.
We drafted those guys. Now we have Cam Smith, who doesn't play. We don't have guard. You couldn't even find a guard. You couldn't find a defensive tackle. And you want me to say that now this guy's going to use that to fill the depth? Sure. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk out of the three needs we have. Well, let's just call it secondary, because it's both safety and corner. Technically, it's 2, but secondary, offensive tackle, and offensive line. What do you think is the biggest needs going into the draft?
D tackle, not offensive tackle, right? You meant D tackle.
Offensive guard and D tackle. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. The fan base has been saying everything for years, and it was just prevalent the last couple of years when Tua got hurt, when the defensive line, I thought they played pretty well, but what you see from these premier organizations that are winning Super Bowls, winning playoff games in that weather, right? You brought it up earlier. People call us soft, right? That's that moniker that we have, that we are a soft organization. Right now, the easy way to go would be, let's go cornerback, right? If we lose Jalen Ramsey, you got to go cornerback. I'm going to stick to our guns. We've been saying it forever, just like, we've been saying it the whole time. Stick to the trenches. Either go with a defensive tackle who's a mean son of a bitch, right? Sorry for cursing, but like the Ole Miss kid or the Oregon kid, you're going to have a lot of defensive tackles that can be there. You go after an offensive tackle or swing, either can play tackle or a guard, because we like versatile players on the offensive line. Go with the trenches. You have to protect Tua. You have to protect, Anthony Weaver loves rotating defensive linemen. Beef that up. That is what these winning organizations do. Let's follow the model. That's what I want to do.
I agree. We need to stop doing the same thing over and over again and picking the flashy, the athletic guy, the one that we can make into something. We don't make anybody into anything.
Yeah,
like we don't develop players. So let's just pick the guy that number one loves football, loves to be there.
Absolutely.
That loves to study, that loves to put in the work, and just wants to be there all the time.
Team captains, people that you speak to their coaches. I watched Draft Day the other day. Great movie, by the way. What do you draft?
Phenomenal movie.
Right? It's such a good movie.
So this is come on. This is just like Moneyball, the movie Moneyball.
Yeah.
Things don't happen like
The only
that.
reason why he passed on Bo Callahan, Chris, is because he called and he found out that no one went to his 21st birthday
No
party.
one went to his birthday party.
yeah,
Callahan?
yeah,
Bo Callahan.
yeah. That I mean,
I don't
that's
think
a
anybody
telling
went to
me.
Zach Wilson's
so why
birthday
don't you
party.
call? Why don't you call? You know, these coaches, these position
do that.
coaches, and
They
ask
do
that.
that.
Are you sure they do that?
Yeah, they do that. They do that. Okay, that's the scary thing is that they do that.
And we still buckle. We have to do something different. Go to Chat GPT and find out ways to draft players. Use AI. Do something different.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we're not known for anything in this organization, right? So go after the trenches, build what the fan base has been saying, and if I swear from the fan base, if you pieces of amazing crap tell me or start going, oh, why did they draft a guard or why did they draft a defensive tackle if this person was there, blah, blah, blah. Think about all the times that we were screaming at each other because
you would love the running back from Boise.
of course, I would love Ashton Genty, but I mean, what were Cam Scadaboo from I forgot their the team.
What?
It's the running back, the white running back, number 4, Cam Scadaboo, first team All-American. Oh, all right. You don't watch football. It's just go with the trenches. And what can be there, Chris? You have defensive tackle and you have offensive guard. You can put the best offensive guard at that level.
So the truth of the matter is that offensive guard at number 13 would be a big stretch. So
you better be a proven. You better be a Pro Bowler.
To my concern, as far as what we have with Patrick Paul, maybe we could find someone that's supposed to be left tackle but can play left guard for now, like Laramie Tunzel. So if we look at the offensive line, we have Armand Membau from Missouri. That guy's going to be gone. So we can, if he's there.
He's projected top 10 pick right now.
Yeah, he's going to be gone. But the one name that keeps coming up that will he be there, will he fall because his arms are too small, like a T-Rex, is Will Campbell from LSU.
I see him. A lot of people have that guy going in the top 5 right now.
Everyone has him really high, but then there's always that conversation of, but he may fall, but he may fall, but he may fall. You know what we really need? We need what is not the rumor. What is this, Toy Story? So
you said small hands.
That's the Rugrats, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't you remember Ari Gold in Entourage when he goes like this? Oh, you have tiny hands.
Yes. But
Will Campbell's not going to be there,
back
brother.
to here. But okay, so he's not there. The one that has everyone mocked to us is Kelvin Banks from Texas. So do we want that guy?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if he's
beef up the line.
So if he's on the board, that's who you want.
Yeah, that's a premier. He's playing against SEC talent. If this guy held his own, then absolutely go after the blue chip players and just beef up the line, dude.
All right.
Absolutely.
So that could be our pick.
Better than the defensive tackle. In my opinion, we always keep saying the same thing. Okay. Protect Tua. Protect Tua. And we're just here with blinders on, right? Protect Tua. That means offensive line.
Yeah.
Go get an offensive lineman. Don't look at cornerback. Don't look at a defensive tackle. You got Sealer and you got all these other studs on the D line. Yeah, would it be better to have depth there? That's fine. We have Sealer locked up for a long time. Go after an offensive tackle who can swing into guard, or go get the best guard that you can get.
All right. So we're thinking offensive line.
Now, you mentioned 2 guys that are absolutely not going to be there. Will Campbell and Mbabubu. What are we going to do if they're not there, Chris?
Or they're not going to be there. But here's this is the problem. This is what this guy's going to be talking about. We're going to do a little mock draft at the end of this, and we're going to see who really is available.
We are? Let me get that ready.
Who really is available. But at the same time, those are the guys that should be drafted at 13. We can't just reach that much because you need it.
So that's the problem here. So looking at this right now, inside offensive lineman, which is guard, you got guys, Tyler Booker out of Bama. You got the kid from ND State, from North Dakota State.
But those guys are going to be
They're going to be there
in the second round.
I don't know if they'll be there in the second round, but
one
they
of those 2 guys will be there in the second round.
So then you go offensive guard, but then do you go tackle? You go offensive tackle? Because Kelvin Banks absolutely could be there.
Right. So that's the pick. If he can't, I mean, he's 6'5", I don't know if he can play offensive guard.
6'5", 315 pounds.
But if he can't play some offensive guard,
has good size to play offensive guard or offensive tackle at the next level.
There you are.
He has good athleticism and quickness to reach block and climb to the second.
Where are you reading that from?
Yeah. Huh?
Give your credit.
CBS Sports.
CBS Sports.
Thank you, CBS Sports.
So right now, in my head, Calvin Banks is my first option. Let's go to defensive tackle. Because as much as you say that we need offensive line, which I would agree, and I understand everything you're saying, and I said it last time, we need to protect Tua. That's the most
bubble
important
boy.
thing.
Protect
and
the
at
bubble
least
boy.
If we get that, now hopefully we have a good offense, and that could take the pressure off of the very bad defense we're about to have next year. Defensive tackle, the thing about that is that we can shore up the lines. We can get that soft thing thrown out of us, and we can also get an impact player. We're not even going to talk about Mason Graham or Derek Harmon. Those guys aren't going to be there. You would agree?
Well, Derek Harmon might be there.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he might be there. And that's the guy I want. That's the kid I want from Oregon.
He's 6'5", 313.
Okay. Led the FBS last year by defensive tackles with 34 pressures, the entire country. That's what I want. I want production. I want people that produce, not because they had a good 40 time, in Indianapolis and at their pro day. I want people that produced. Okay. And that is the type of person that I want. He's played for Oregon, playing against premier, teams every week in and week out. You don't think Oregon played against great teams? They were top 5 team last year. They played against Ohio State, Michigan, and Big Ten. You don't think Oregon is a premier college program?
I do, but are they playing against the offensive?
He's playing against Big Ten offensive lines every year. I mean, every game.
Yeah, you're right.
And Big Ten is known for having the best, offensive lines. So absolutely, that's the guy I want to go get.
How about Walter Nolan or Kenneth Grant?
No, Kenneth Grant played at Michigan, played next to Mason Graham, who is projected to be a top 5 pick, who's also a defensive tackle.
Who's 6'4", 331.
Yeah, he's a run stuffer.
He's gonna play, I would think, perfectly next to Sealer, no?
Yes.
And more for what this defense needs. And he's athletic, and he produced, right? He did his job. He does his job. He sits in there. He's not the flashy guy, because Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, he's the flashy guy. We're talking about 2 guys that probably are going to be there at 13. So to your point, yes, Kenneth Grant, how much was it next to Mason Graham? But how about if you let Sealer do the same things at this next level, because Grant is holding up the line?
I think you can do that, but also I don't think Kenneth Grant at 13. I think that's a reach, in my opinion.
Okay.
Everything that I've looked at online has him probably going later, early second round. He might be there at 48. That's the pick that we have, 48. You also have a lot of draft capital. Okay,
I'll bet he's not gonna be
okay.
there.
If he's not there,
Shot bet.
No,
He's not
I'm
gonna
not
be
doing
there
the
at
shot
48.
bet. But what I am trying to say is maybe we can package other picks together to move up in the second round.
I mean, when we trade
and
Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why do you keep bringing it up? You make me depressed. It's like when I step on the scale and then I don't see progress.
You think Derek Harmon's going to be there? If he's going to be there, who would you rather have, Calvin Banks or Derek Harmon?
I'd rather have Kelvin Banks.
All right.
You protect the franchise.
So we're sticking it.
Think about what we keep asking too. Everything in this NFL is about
you don't have to say
your
it again.
QB. No.
No, I heard it.
You heard it? Are you sure?
Offensive line.
Did the fans hear it too?
Do we do any more of the show, or do you stop because you keep getting at me here?
Sorry, I'm just upset.
Yeah, I hear you. So we're gonna go to secondary, because this is the one that everyone would be excited about. Because if we take one of these players, this is the difference makers. This is where we get our interceptions. This is where we get our flashy plays. This is where we get our turnovers and change of momentum.
This is where we demand trades and demand lucrative deals and bitch and complain in the media.
So off screen, we talked about this guy that you really liked, and he's Will Johnson from Michigan. Prototypical player, 6'2", 194. We both have big concerns with him, being that he is
injury prone.
Injury prone.
Last year, turf toe, just re-aggravated a hammy injury during the pre-draft process. What I like about Will Johnson is, first off, he played for Michigan. Stud, right? Great program. You can kind of see where I'm going out here. I like blue chip guys. Secondly, he's a 2-time All-American. First team and second team.
I don't think there's any questioning how good
you
he
need
is on the field.
He's a productive player. He's going up against people of the likes of the Ohio State, wide receivers every year. Probably didn't go against Jeremiah Smith because I think you mentioned earlier that he kind of held out.
Yeah, so that's my concern with Will Johnson is, one, he's hurt all the time. So you know what? Send it in. If Will Johnson's on the thing, Chris Greer is gonna draft him because he's injured all the time. He's a prototypical player, and yes, he gave up at the end of the year. He didn't want to play because the team wasn't very good.
Stephen Ross is tied to Michigan as well. So this is perfect. Just send the pick in. Send the pick in.
It just concerns me a little bit where if we're talking corners, we'll go to another corner, Jahdae Brown from Texas, and he's for sure going to be there. Now, he's more of that nickel corner, but he's also very versatile. He played boundary this last year. He plays a little bit of safety. He could be that star role that we would love Ramsey to stick in, but he's not going to. That's fine. But you could get that from him. So you're going to get a guy that loves football. You're going to get a guy that never stopped playing no matter what the situation was. And he's a little bit smaller, but he's big enough. He's 5'11". I mean, he's big enough.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
And if you're going to be more versatile, that's the guy that I want because you're going to have a less floor. Maybe he's not good at safety. Maybe he's only good at nickel corner. Fine, we have a nickel corner. Maybe he's not good at nickel corner, but he's good at boundary. Whatever it may be, I just don't want that one guy. Will Johnson, to me, my biggest concern with Will Johnson is his injuries. And that's
Which is a valid point.
I mean, I just don't want to see that again.
We want people to stay on the field, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're our first-round pick at 13.
Right, because we cannot miss. Like, this guy needs to start day one for the next 4 years at the very least, because then that rebuild will happen, and then we're going to have to change all personnel again.
Now, I'll tell you who I absolutely love. If they pick him at 13.
I know you're going to love him because you just talked about blue chip guys. Go for it. You haven't stopped talking about this guy since we started talking about redoing the pod.
Malachi Starks.
Yeah.
This kid, talk about versatile, is a national champion, 2-time national champion, loves football, is a dog, 5 interceptions. The kid can played in the...
No pun intended.
Yeah. And he is a star. He could play that star role, right? He's versatile. He's got Anthony Weaver all over him. Can he be kind of like the Kyle Hamilton that the Ravens had, that Anthony Weaver had when he was at the Ravens? Who knows? But that's what we need.
1,000% I agree with you on Malachi Starks over Brown.
And he's a safety, folks. He's not a cornerback.
He's a safety. He's bigger. He's 6'1", 197. He played with Georgia, like you said, so we know he's coached up, especially in the secondary. We know that he knows how to play defense.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw you one that you're not going to like because this is, again, another Chris Greer type of pick, and that's going to be Nick Emanari from USC, from South Carolina. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. He runs a sub 4.4, and you can't get the ball past him when you're in the red zone, and he comes up and makes big tackles all the time.
He may be a stud. But I want people that are winning accolades, that are playing in big games week in and week out. And I don't want another freak like Deion Jordan. Remember that name, folks? Deion Jordan.
Such a good foreshadower.
Yeah. Remember that athletic freak that climbed up, and I don't want that. I don't want another project. I don't want raw athleticism and we can coach them up. We don't coach anybody up here, right? So go get the guy that is football savvy, that has made plays. He had 4 years to make plays. Did he make plays all 4 years like Malachi Starks? No, he didn't. That's what I want. I want people that produced in college that can produce in the next level.
Malachi Starks or Will Johnson, who would you prefer?
It depends on what happens with Jalen Ramsey, right? I think this is right now we have a larger need, in my opinion, at cornerback than we have at safety. That's my opinion. In a perfect world, if you had a Will Johnson and you had a Jalen Ramsey on the other side, that's not too shabby, right? And then you probably could pick up another safety later on, and you can, kind of have those 3 guys, him and the other 2 guys go at it together. I would go I'm just falling into I'm Chris Greer. Fuck it. Sorry. Sign it in. I'm going with Malachi Starks. I've been talking about him all along.
You're not Chris Greer. Chris Greer would go
Well,
with Will
I was saying
Johnson.
I'm Chris Greer because I'm going into Will Johnson. I'm like saying this is what we should do. No, Malachi Starks is the player. He's the guy that's the versatile player. Go after Malachi Starks.
Yeah. He's a Minka Fitzpatrick.
Big words. Big words there.
Well, Minka was like the 13th pick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He absolutely was.
It's crazy.
Maybe we can get it back.
Don't hold your breath.
So,
All right.
Chris, I mean, we have lots of holes. We'll see what happens. I think we've gone over, one other thing that we kind of mentioned earlier was the quarterback, right? There's, I want to take time and talk about Cam Ward. My
Your
God.
boy.
Cam Ward, what a stud for UM. If you can see that, Cam, we love you. There's a joke in my other group chat talking about maybe we should become Titans fans, right?
I mean, that sounds like
should we jump ship?
That sounds like a great idea, only for one reason at all.
Terrible division.
Well, sure. If we're talking, I'm just talking about Broadway. Like, imagine tailgating at Broadway, going from bar to bar. Then you get to the end, you walk across the bridge, you go into the football stadium.
Wow.
They win, and you come back. I mean, that would be phenomenal.
My cousin lives in Nashville. Shout out to Christina. Love you very much. We also have a very good buddy who lives in Nashville, starting his family there.
Yeah.
Right?
Gabriel.
Does that mean that maybe we should go live in Nashville? It could happen.
Well, how about if Cam Ward doesn't get drafted by them?
It's going to happen. Okay. But Cam Ward is an absolute stud. But, obviously that's a pipe dream. You got Shedeur Sanders, primetime junior. You got Jackson Dart.
There is the rumor that Shedeur Sanders could fall. Of course, don't believe anything you hear on draft week. If he was there at 13, would you want to draft Shedeur Sanders?
No.
Wow. Really?
No.
Why not?
He's never appealed to me. He had a otherworldly playmaker throughout his tenure in Travis Hunter, right? That guy can mask a lot of things. Shedeur Sanders, I think he's an accurate quarterback, but he's 6'2". He's a little bit bigger than Tua.
He's very much like Tua.
Yeah, he doesn't run the ball.
I think
he doesn't escape.
Compared him to Tua. That was his NFL comp.
Yeah, I'll stay. I honestly will stay away from Shedeur Sanders. I don't want any part of that. Good luck to him. He could pan out. I just don't think that he is a franchise quarterback in the NFL.
All right, keep going with your quarterback.
You got Jackson Dart, who's the kid from Ole Miss, who is a prototypical big kid, big arm.
I don't want that guy at all.
Yeah. Dylan Gabriel.
Here we go again.
Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. Proven winner. Played well. I don't want that guy either. He's a little short. He's a short dude. Then you got some big guys, Chris. You got a kid from, two guys that kind of swapped QB roles in college. You got the guy from Ohio State, which is Will Howard, who is just beaming up, draft boards. And you want to know why? Because of Barstool John Gruden. You saw that guy? Have you seen that interview with John Gruden?
What happened
my God.
there?
He just had that QB talk with Will Howard from Ohio State, who's 6'4", 200 and something pounds, used to play at Kansas State. This guy has 4 runs of over 60 yards as a quarterback, Chris. That's 6'4". Huge arm. Played really well last year, won a national championship. That's the kid that I want. And then you also got the kid from Syracuse who he replaced at Ohio State, was that Syracuse put up otherworldly numbers. I think he led the FBS, which is Kyle McCord, and that's your guy. I want Will Howard. I think Will Howard's going to be there.
Was he there before?
Where?
At Ohio State?
He was at Kansas State.
Kansas State, and then he transferred to Ohio State.
Correct. And Kyle McCord used to be at Ohio State.
Yeah. So this should have been a bigger conversation going into the offseason. I thought for sure we should draft someone 3rd round, 4th round. Would have been fine if they draft someone in the 2nd round. I don't know if we can afford to do that right now.
Of course we can. You have 2 draft picks in the 4th round. So you can't tell me that you can't take one of these guys there.
So it's interesting. If they're going to be there in the 4th round, they might not be there.
But if they are,
completely went over the Louisville guy, Tyler Slow.
Oh, okay. The 7-year starter. The guy's 7. He's been in the league or college for 7 years. No, I want nothing to do with that guy.
Okay, but he's
26 years
he's
old.
a draft darling at the moment. And then you have Jalen Milroe.
Again, absolutely not.
For
That
your
guy-
Will Howard talk, Jalen Milroe has everything else that you would want in a quarterback.
He's not accurate at all.
He's big. Yeah, neither was Josh Allen. He's a blue chip guy. He played at Alabama. He played in the big games, the big moments. You saw that Georgia game. You and I sat next to each other at Pika's house, and he lit it up. And obviously, he had bad coaching at the end, and he didn't produce the same way he did the year before when he had Nick Saban as a good coach.
Do you think Jalen Milroe is the next Josh Allen or could be like a Josh Allen? Because I'll tell you who can be like a Josh Allen.
Will Howard.
Will Howard.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger stretch than Jalen Milroe.
He that kid has explosiveness. I don't
for
think
the same
that
things you're talking about. I'd rather have Jalen Milroe any day of the week.
absolutely not.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
here we are.
All right. Maybe we should do a shot bet for years from now and see who's gonna
Yeah,
produce
that's
more.
gonna be one of those shot bets that never take. Like, who's gonna win the Super Bowl first? The Chicago Bears or the Raiders? Because the Raiders traded
Chicago
away.
Bears. For
Yeah,
sure.
That's what I picked as well. But Pika's gonna have a tequila shot in 25 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, those are our picks. That's who I think would be a nice quarterback, on our side. Now,
Number one, I'm saying I don't think that we should anymore. I did going into the offseason. I don't think we should anymore.
we absolutely should. We absolutely should.
I think you need more players. We don't have enough guards. We don't have enough safeties.
We don't have a
enough
future
corners.
if Bubble Boy can't stay on the field. If you go out of if
They
Tua
did it.
gets hurt this year,
I'm sorry to tell you, they did it. I keep saying it again. Zach Wilson is their future guy. He's the
No, he's
one that has
not.
the arm,
There's no way.
the athleticism, the one that they can fix. He's on a cheap deal this year, and they can turn him into a starter.
There's
if they
absolutely
don't.
no
I'm
way
telling
that
you
they
right now.
think that guy's the future. There's no way.
Did
I'll fix him.
Did the Tampa Bay Bucks think that Baker was going to be the future when they got him? Probably not. He was a stopgap.
Good point.
And here we
Sam
are.
Darnold. Mark,
Yeah.
you brought up a good point earlier. You fix him. What do you mean by that?
I just believe that Mike McDaniels has a huge confidence in what he could do. Like, he saw Tua and he was like, Flores can't do anything. He doesn't know how to fix this, but I can, because I'm an offensive guy. I know what I'm going to do. And to give him credit, he did produce something for a season that did work.
More than a season. We keep.
He did. No. I mean,
the team is completely different. They're a top 10 offense.
Tua's
for
an
sure.
MVP candidate, guys. He was first team All Pro.
With Tua playing. We keep saying this. The one thing is that he can't stay healthy. But besides that, McDaniel did fix Tua. Tua's much better. We're a much better team with Tua on the field. We're a playoff contender with Tua on the field. And unfortunately, they're really betting on Tua. So we're really going to find out this year, because the team is definitely relying solely on Tua. If we're good, it's because Tua's good. If we're bad, it's because Tua got hurt or he was bad.
You guys want to know a fun fact? The reason why I bought these glasses last year when I went to the optometrist, shout out to Dr. Friedman, was because of Mike McDaniel. These clear glasses. I wanted to look like Mikey McDaniel. I feel like I should get rid of them. Ever since we put these glasses on,
They look good. I don't think you should. Get rid of
I feel like, he's letting us go. I don't want to throw them because I really do use them. But, Chris, pure stigmatism. Hopefully they didn't break. Mike McDaniel, I can't see now. I am a liability on the street now because I don't want to look like you anymore. Prove me wrong, Mike. Prove me wrong. I love you.
All right.
Sorry.
I think that's enough draft talk. I promise you guys, after the draft, once we make our selections, we're going to really study these guys for you. We'll try to do some
really gonna
film
study.
on highlights, but we will at least bring you a bunch of information from the research we do, because there's plenty of things to read out there for you guys, and we can bring it in and tell you what we're excited about, because we're going to tell you how excited we are. That's for sure what's going to happen. But before we end this segment, we're going to throw you a nice little fun top 5. It was very difficult, but we're going to give you our top 5 draft moments in our years. So I'm not going to pretend like I remember drafting that many players. But the number 5 on the list is a combined list. It has mostly to do with us. So when Ryan and I first started getting into it, I remember listening to the radio 560, waiting for like Carlos Dansby to get signed on free agency. That was like when we really got into it. And I called, hey, we just signed Carlos Dansby. Okay, cool. I was playing Madden while you were doing something. And then I get a phone call. We trade up, okay, in the draft. And we were so excited because we thought we were going to get Ryan Mallett, R.I.P.
Big arm kid from Arkansas.
I call Ryan. We're like, it's going to happen. We're on the phone together. And we draft a running back from Kansas State, Daniel Thomas. I think it was silent for a good 30 seconds, and we're just like, all right, bye. Like there was nothing more. That's a memory that I have. So that's number 5.
Yeah, number 4. I think I alluded to him earlier in the pod. Dion Jordan, 2013. Where were you in 2013?
So me, I was in Maine. I was studying, and I remember we're like, oh, we have like the 12th or 13th pick, so not a big deal. But my friend was a Lions fan. He's like, I really want to watch the draft because he had number 5 pick or something. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go and I'll pay attention. And all of a sudden, 3rd pick of the draft, Dolphins are on the clock. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And then I knew we needed a left tackle that year. So we had the 2 big tackles go off the board, Eric Fisher and Jake Luckel, and then
Luke Jokel.
And I was like, are we going to draft Lane Johnson right now? Like
Oklahoma,
which
first team All-American.
I was like, fine.
Stud, absolute stud. By the way, for some of you that may not know, Lane Johnson is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Who doesn't know this?
Maybe some people don't. I mean, if my mom is watching, she for sure doesn't know who Lane Johnson is. We're here to inform people, Chris.
Surefire first round pick. As you said, I don't think missed a start. He just doesn't give up a sack. He's these
the greatest,
things.
Probably the greatest right tackle of all time. That's a legitimate argument.
But did we pick him? No.
Dion Jordan, Oregon, freak, 6'5", 240 pounds. Was a stud, at his pro day and at the combine. You know how many total sacks, Chris, Dion Jordan had for the Miami Dolphins?
Well, since we're around the Easter time, I'm going to tell you 3.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think he had more suspensions than.
I mean, it was such a bad pick, and it was
sacks.
I know he wasn't in charge that time, but it's such a Chris Greer pick, and the saddest part about that is Stephen Ross was in the room and said, if there's one guy that you guys can draft, who's the guy that you want? And the entire room said Dion Jordan. And they said, okay, go get him.
Let's move on to number 3. I think we're going to leave one off, but I kind of need like a blunder, right?
Okay.
Something, maybe an honorable mention.
Okay.
You just mentioned Steve Ross. Like, who does everybody want? Isn't that famous story that Stephen Ross said he wanted Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, so this is not top 5 for you and I. This is a top 5
blunder,
just blunder.
Yeah, or anything like memories. Top 5 memories,
which maybe we can do for the other pod. So you might hear this twice, but yeah, the famous story. Apparently, he did. He didn't. That Stephen Ross wanted Lamar. Hey, we don't we want Lamar Jackson right now? No, because I don't think Adam Gase wanted to coach him. So the other funny story about that is that. Apparently, allegedly, don't know if this is true, Chris Greer slammed on the table saying, we need to draft Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like, if we don't draft Minkah Fitzpatrick, instead of trade down to accumulate picks and draft Lamar Jackson later, because that was Stephen Ross' idea. Again, it's all alleged. We don't know if this is true or not. He's like, no, I have to draft this guy. He's the best player available. We need to grab him. Okay, we drafted him. What happened a year later?
Asked for a trade.
Brian Flores came in. And they traded him. And here we are again. Chris Greer.
2-time first team All-Pro.
Chris Greer, again,
for the Steelers.
Is the head now of the organization. And just seems like the chameleon act is wearing thin here.
You get out of here with the wearing thin. The guy hasn't been fired yet. But
right.
Lamar Jackson, people, how many MVPs does he have?
Yeah.
Is it 3?
We can
2?
say that
he's got 2.
We're top 5 blunders.
Yeah.
But we're going to go back to number 3 moment for us. And that was being at the draft. After COVID, it was 2021 draft. We already have 200 team. We were excited about that. So we decided, let's go to the stadium. Let's join the party. It was the 3 of us. I bought, for some reason, football socks that I've never worn.
Remember the pants that I bought?
Pants. We both have pants. I bought a helmet. I bought too many things that I didn't need, and they just take up space in my closet. But but it was fun. I was upset that we drafted Jalen Waddle because I wanted Jamar Chase. I didn't want to trade back. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted the surefire all-pro Jamar Chase.
You're right.
And that's the one guy you could pair. You just had Tua. You could pair him. No. So instead we have Jalen Waddle and we have Jalen Phillips. And yes, they're both good players, but they're both injured all the time. They're both,
not Jamar Chase.
They're not all pros. That's for sure.
Can you imagine Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill on the same field for the same team?
Well, you might have not had to do that, and maybe you would have built the team a little bit differently and better than what we did.
And cheaper.
Until now. And together.
Jamar Chase got $40 million a year. Number 2.
So we had our podcasts. We cannot say anything else. We all wanted Tua. That was who we wanted. We wanted to
tank for
Tua. And we went to your house. We had a great time. We were waiting for the Tua pick.
During COVID. Like the height of COVID, right? Or no? It was the year after.
No, it was. So in Miami, we're allowed to go out. So that's...
No, but we did it outside. Well, we'll post the video for everyone.
We did it outside.
We did it outside because it was the height of COVID.
And we were social distancing.
And I had kids, right? We didn't want to...
Right.
In fact,
I remember that now that you say that.
But looking at those videos, we got pretty close to each other.
And you can see our reaction. It was pretty, we were all thrilled. It was a fun time. Thinking of what could be. The little glimmer of hope just keeps coming back. And that was our Tua draft. But I'm going to let you say no memories, especially with us, can top our number 1 top 5 draft memory of all time. Ryan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so we have to go all the way back to 2009. I mean, so in 2009, we are going into our senior year of college, right? I went to FIU, go Golden Panthers. Chris also went to FIU. And we had our, one of our best friends, Joey, and our buddy and our best friend, Julian, 2 brothers. They lived across the street at this house, across the street from FIU that we would always go to, and we would always convene and, joder and all the games and stuff that we played growing up at that house. So we're all watching for some reason. Well, back then, the draft, the first 2 rounds were on the same day, right? Or even the whole draft.
No, I think it was the first 2 rounds, and then 3 and 4 was another time.
So it's the second round. We're there, and Julian Senior has this fun. And Julian Senior, by the way, he's the man. Always made fun of my weight. Always, un poquito de gordito, but to this guy's defense, I would always break things at his house, right? Like I broke his AC one time. I broke, his wife's aviator. The first, front row. So the guy, I also almost urinated on top of him and his wife at one point when I was intoxicated during college. But we're not going to go through that conversation. We're there, and I'm in his lounge chair. I'll never forget. I'm in his lazy boy. He's not here yet. He's not home yet. And we're just all there together, convened, watching, the NFL draft. And it's the second round, the 44th pick the Miami Dolphins are on the clock. And we're going through it. And
this is Bill Parcells drafting.
Yeah, and we're just going through it, and we're like, oh, what are we going to do and stuff like that. And Pat White from West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.
Well, he did take you home.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys are the worst. You guys can't sing with me. So we're all talking about Pat White, and I go, guys, heck no. There's no way that we're going to draft Pat White. And I said, you know what? I'll go jump in Julian's freezing pool outside without a shirt on if we draft Pat White. So everyone, of course, starts getting riled up. And we're like, there's absolutely no way. We have so many holes. Why the hell would we draft Pat White? And then here comes the commission. With the 44th pick of the 2009 NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins select Pat White. And of course, you guys didn't, let me get away with it. So I had to take off my, I had to do this.
There's no,
see a little bit of that, a little bit of that.
There's no letting you. You jumped. I've never seen you get off the couch so fast. You jumped before I knew you were in the water. And that's,
a man of his word. A Lannister always pays his debts, just like a Lafarga. Yeah. So that is my all-time favorite.
Is that why you have a lion in your house? statue of a lion?
Yes. Yeah.
Fargo Lannister?
Yeah, that's exactly why. We're kings of the people. That is my all-time favorite draft moment that I ever had. We had a couple others that we didn't mention, like Ted Ginn and, the Ted Ginn family. The time that we all wanted to draft Brady Quinn. But there's no confidence going into this year. This is just build from the trenches. Don't get in over your head. Chris Greer, please just use ChatGPT.
Let's just do the basics. But that's all we got for you. We'll come back, like you said, after the draft. Hopefully we're feeling better.
Like and subscribe. Cultura Media, 786 Sports. We'll be on giving your comments, who you think we should draft. Should it be O-line or should it be cornerback? But we'll see you guys next week, and we love you guys.
Sayonara, suckers.